Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Guys, my voice is low as shit right now because I have been recovering from a cold and I am dropping it low. What you know about that? How do you like that? How you guys doing? Welcome to the precipice of delusion. Another episode, another day. Thank you for being here. I am Julian Gavelanis, the host. Did I just say my name wrong? Julian Gavelanis. Yeah. I'm Julian Gavelanis, the host, as you may or may not know. And I am just a guy that is interested in exploring the intricacies of the artist's journey, the space in between the work. How do we navigate self-worth, mental health? How do we keep a strong head on our shoulders when the universe is telling us that we should turn around and throw in the towel, baby? Gets hard out here sometimes, and I am here to explore with all of my guests how they navigate this space. It's been one of my best feelings to start this show. And so if you're here and if you've been with us, thank you so much for tuning in continuously. And if you're new, welcome to the show, my friends. If you're here to listen to our guests today, then we got something good in store for you, baby. Yes, we do. We got my man from the land down under, my first international guest yet, Mr. EJ Worland. Holy shit. Hold for applause. Hold for applause. Guys, EJ is just the king. He is so awesome. I love this man to death. We are friends through my relationship to Alan Stone. I met him several years ago. He was hanging out in Spokane doing some stuff with Alan, and we became fast friends. And him and I call each other the RIFF-DADDYs because we fucking yeah. We riff off, and it's the best. If you don't riff off with your friends, are you even friends? I don't think so. So, yeah, EJ and I have, not a ton of history, but a lot compacted into the amount of time that we have spent together. He is such a sweetheart. He's hilarious. And man, can he sing. He's got a soulful voice that is pretty undeniable. He looks like a 70s porn star. Just hot commodity. He is one of my favorite people to be around, if I'm being real honest. And I just get a kick out of getting to spend any time with him. So he's here to tell us his story, and I'm thrilled, if you don't already know him, to be introduced to him. He is such a beam of light, and he has a record coming out, or a record, I call it a record. He has an album, an EP coming out soon, and we will talk about that in here. Make sure you go and pick it up. It is called Tunnels. Go to wherever you find music and check out my man EJ Worland's music. You will not be disappointed. He is an incredible artist. And we dive into it. It's a great episode. Guys, if you don't already know, we have a Patreon page now. It is where you can go and become a member of my community. You can get exclusive content, videos of me talking about how we make movies, puppet shows, rap-offs, riff-offs. Me and Rachel are doing 21 questions where you can get the inside scoop into my brain and from my girlfriend's point of view, which is going to be interesting. But a lot of different things that are going to be on there. Eventually, we'll start putting out some merch. We'll start making some decals so you can throw it on the back of your Tahoe and your Range Rover and be looking like a fucking sick-ass motherfucker. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick. But, Go to the Patreon page and check it out. I'll be doing shout outs for everybody that's a part of it at the end of these episodes. And it will be a wonderful time to participate in the world of making things, my friends. Patreon.com/the precipice of delusion. I know the precipice is a little bit of a tricky one to spell, but it is PRECIPICE of delusion. Make sure you check that out, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow along on this podcast wherever you listen to it. Subscribe, like, share, comment, write a review if you have the time. Everything that you do to contribute to this podcast, even if it's to say, hey man, I don't think you're doing it right, is, something. So share everything you can, talk to your friends about it, and holler at me if you have anything you want to say, just to say hi. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. This is my conversation with my good pal, EJ Worland.
How's the hair?
Dude, you look like a straight up 70s porn star as per usual, baby. EJ Worland back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in hot, looking like a fucking slice of
We're going for round
cherry toast. What the fuck is cherry toast, if you ask me?
Dude,
I tell you.
I mean, I would eat cherry toast. Don't you guys eat that over here? There's peanut butter and jam.
Cherry?
Cherry?
Yeah, peanut butter. Is that what you call it in Oz? Peanut butter and jam?
We actually do, yeah. I'm coming here for the first time, and it was like, they were like, oh, you want a jelly sandwich? I'm like, jelly? That's what we put on ice cream. Did you have that airplane jelly here? Like
airplane jelly, like
jelly. That one?
Airplane. What kind? Like the kind that's in the little packets that you
No,
get at like an IHOP?
there was a brand called airplane jelly.
Aeroplane or airplane? Aeroplane jelly.
That's a good point. And we used to sing the song, I like aeroplane jelly. I can't remember the words now.
No, dude. The only thing that I've had from Australia is, what's the shit you guys, that salty ass shit that you guys put on your toast?
Vegemite.
Vegemite. Yeah. That stuff sucks, dude.
Oh, get your hand on it. It's heavy. Are you kidding me?
You love it?
Yeah, I mean, look, of course I love it. Absolutely. I've got a jar downstairs. They sell it here now pretty regularly because it seems to be, as it turns out in Los Angeles, there's like every second person's Australian.
Really?
I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's like
fucking Aussies.
the first day it wasn't the first day, but it was in the first, say, month or so of moving here. We're over on Abbot Kinney in bloody Venice there. And I'm walking down the street. It was like a Saturday or Sunday or something. Shitloads of people. And I look across, I hear this Dossie. And Dossie's like my nickname from back home. And I was like, you kidding me? I look over. There was a friend of mine from home. She's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, we just moved here. She's like, oh, great. We should hang out. And I was like, yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome, No more than 5 minutes later, Dossie. I was like, I'm talking about from the same town at home. Like, it's not a big town. I saw 3 people on that strip from home. They're like, we're going to hang out. I'm like, I love you, but I just moved to the other side of the world to hang out with you.
yeah, exactly. That's so weird, man. Yeah.
I'm joking. That like, they're lovely people. But, yeah, man, I was just, like, blown away with the amount of Aussies that are here. I mean, there's shitloads of people regardless.
Yeah. No, I've had a couple run-ins with people. I've been out here for 12 years. And you don't ever expect to run into anybody because it's like, there's so many people out here in New York City, but like it is also like when you think about it, it's very small. Like Manhattan, I think is like 12 miles long. It's fucking tiny, but like there's fucking 8 million people in it. So you just like, and you just never expect. And so a couple times I've been like behind the bar or something like that, and I've seen somebody with like a Seahawks hat on, and I'll be like, oh cool, you from Seattle? And they're like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, where? And they're like, well, not really Seattle, but it's like this, place like north of it, like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, me too. Where? Mill Creek. What? Me too. I went to Jackson High School. I went to Jackson High School.
Whoa.
Fuck, it's just like super weird, man. Like how you can like
man,
across the world from each other like that.
Yeah, considering how many people live in this country alone, it's like it's pretty wild when you start running into people from your hometown.
especially Australia, man. You're just like truly on the opposite side of the globe. But I guess it's a, you know, it's a hub,
You know what I was
LA.
thinking of though? Like, I was chatting to Lecky, my wife, yesterday about this. Well, like people from New York that say that if they want to fly to Hawaii on a holiday, that's the same distance. I think it's like, I mean, how long does it take to get from New York to Hawaii? Is that like a 12,
It
13 hour
it would
flight?
it would be like a little under 10, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I was way off.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's yeah, it's like 17 to get to Australia. But
what's that?
it's like 17 from here to Australia.
Oh, on a good day. I mean, it's 13 from Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Can
so it
you,
would take us like 4 or 5 hours to
yeah,
get
can
to
you
Los
like,
Angeles.
can you fly directly from New York to Australia? I don't know if you
I don't
can.
think so. No, we had to fly
I
to
think the
LA when we
furthest
went.
is like I think it's Dallas or Houston, one of those big cities. I think it's Dallas. You fly from Dallas to Australia, and that's like
Seems crazy. I mean,
that's
also being on an airplane for that long is kind of wild. Although when I went, it was like those planes are so nice, man. Qantas.
yeah, dude.
Dude, I was flying fucking in luxury, boy.
Yeah,
Eating
dude.
Tim Tams fucking out of the stewardess's fucking palms. Just,
Well,
god damn, dude. Give me
yeah,
some Tim Tams.
I've got a bunch of those downstairs from
Oof.
my last trip. But it's so funny. I feel like the Qantas employees there, like the staff on board, ham on the accent even more when you get on. They're like, "G'day, welcome on board."
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. They're
They're
just
always
like
like these older
playing
guys.
up like they're Steve Irwin or something.
Yeah,
Now
look
Hunter.
out. You know, it was yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah, but it's always fun because you either coming here or going there. And I always seem to watch the same thing. It's this comedian Carl Barron. Have you heard of this guy?
I've heard of him, but I've never watched any of his stuff.
He's epic. But like I feel bad. The only time I really watch him is on that flight, just to really rev up the Australian humour. And no, he's great. Check him out. I'm actually going to Hollywood tonight.
Carl what?
Carl Barron.
Carl Barron. Okay, cool. Nice, man.
Anyway,
Nice, dude. Well, how you doing? How's the weather in Los Angeles?
well,
Same as it always is?
Gray made it. You know what? Like, we love it here, but I was thinking about it the other day too. It's, they have this thing called grey May, then June gloom,
Uh,
then it gets hot in July, and then it just gets really hot.
treacherous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, look, it is sunny, and I'm not going to begin to complain. Today is pretty overcast and shit house, but whatever. We're going to Hollywood Bowl tonight to see Bill Burr. Bill Burr?
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I've never been to Hollywood Bowl, so I'm pumped.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a cool space, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And Bill Burr's great. That's gonna be fun.
he's hilarious as shit.
Cool. You and Lecky?
Yeah, Lecky, and I got a mate of mine out from Australia who's last time he was overseas was here just before COVID, and before that he'd never been overseas before, which I was just like, what? That's insane. But yeah, I'm gonna catch up with him and then one of our best mates as well, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. Looking forward.
Nice, man. That's awesome. That's gonna be great. Well, dude, thanks for doing this again. This is our second try. We did one, and it was fucking a great episode that is going to go out on the audio waves, but we didn't pick up the video, and it made me so sad. I was like, dude, I mean, I don't know if you know me enough to know that like I have like full blown panic attacks when something like that I put when Alan and I had our podcast, How Good's This, we literally, there was probably like 13% of the episodes we didn't work. And we would get so like, there was one time when we did an episode 4 times. Like we literally went back and did it 4 times, and we were just trying to like manufacture the same things. Like we were trying to like, it was just so stupid by the end of it that we was just like, this fucking whole thing sucks, man.
It's I mean, you guys had such an operation up there,
it was a big operation for sure.
You had Stevie there just operating the whole thing. It was just,
it was like a sports studio, like editing to different cameras and doing all that stuff.
Really
It was crazy.
I mean, like he had a dial when I was up there, but I could imagine when things start to go a bit pear shaped, it's like, fuck, where do we go here? Like,
yeah. Well, it was just such a bummer, man, to like lose that footage. Not even lose it. I just didn't get it. I just didn't capture it.
The audio waves, and we're here now.
Yeah, we got the audio, and we're here now. And yeah, I appreciate you making the time and space to do it, man. Because I really wanted to have some videos of your pretty face. You know what I'm saying?
Run out mug.
Yeah. And in the spirit of talking about Australia, I was curious because I wanted to know, like, because for me, when I moved from Seattle to New York to be an actor, I was thinking, like, okay, I had this slingshot theory that I had come up with myself, which was like, I had started working as an actor in Seattle, right? And I had this like really kind of like expedited, fast tracked experience with it, where I was like all of a sudden in the world. I was getting cast in movies and film and television. I was like, I was a part of this thing. It was wild. Like,
Yeah.
just from like the idea of having it, it was like a right place, right time. It wasn't because I was good. It was just like, it all happened for me right away.
Yeah.
And I came up with this slingshot theory, which was like, I'm going to move to New York and I'm going to pull myself back. I'm going to go out to New York. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn like the craft of acting, so that then I can like catapult myself forward and actually like really get good at this thing.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, like moving to New York was like, well, also I want to like get really good at this thing and be like way more successful than what Seattle is going to allow me to be if I just stay here.
Uh-huh.
But now, 12 years later, I look back and I think, well, I probably could have just stayed in Seattle and like had a thriving acting career, probably more so than what I even have here, because the marketplace is so overly saturated. There's so many professionals. I'm literally surrounded by the best of the best in the entire world in acting and music and entertainment, and similarly to you with LA. And I'm curious, what what would you have done? You can't know because you didn't, but like, did you ever think about like what would have happened if you just stayed in Australia and like built out your marketplace out there? And like, what was it that made you say like, no, I have to like expand out of that and do something like more massive and bigger? Or was it even that thought?
Yeah. So what made me make the decision, or I guess I always wanted to be here. When I did a trip here when I was in 2009, right? So a long time ago. And I worked at this summer camp, right?
Oh, cool.
Worked at a summer camp because,
Doing what? Being freaking summer camp counselor, freaking
yeah, I was a camp counselor.
EJ?
Yeah. Well, basically,
Nice,
I got hired by these guys to drive a water ski wakeboarding
I would
boat.
be so pumped if you were my camp counselor.
Oh, dude, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, but that's a whole story in itself. But basically, like, yeah, I mean, how much time we got? You want me to go into
Yeah.
it?
I mean, it's your time, man.
Okay,
You leave when you leave.
2009. But I'll answer your question first. Basically, in 2009, I came out to Australia. Came out here to the US. Worked at this summer camp, and after this, I was already playing music back at home. I wasn't so much releasing music, but I was, wanting to pursue music as a career and songwriting as a career. So I ended up like coming out, but I knew that once I jumped into the deep end of that, it was going to completely consume my life, which I was totally happy to do. But before jumping in, I was like, I want to experience a bit of travel. And that's pretty common in Australia for Australians to go away for a year or so, check out the world a bit, come back and, I don't know, go to college or pursue their career, whatever it may be. So I hopped on a plane, came over here, worked at this summer camp, met some amazing people. It was a lot of fun. And I met a friend of mine. Her mum used to work in the music industry as a music manager and worked in labels and all this sort of stuff. And she was like, come down to Texas and meet my mum and we can hang out. She might be able to book you a show and, all that jazz. And I was like, cool.
And you were playing music in Australia, like from a pretty young age. You would have been doing that.
I started playing music when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Younger. Yeah, but then I started, like performing and stuff.
Gigging and stuff, yeah.
All that sort of stuff, yeah. But anyway, I was like, okay, I'll go down and meet them. And I actually spent I went down to Auburn, Alabama, right? I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. But
Auburn.
Yeah, right. So War Eagle, baby. War Eagle. I went down and
Auburn.
Because the friend that I was wakeboarding instructing with up in the summer camp in Pennsylvania, he was actually really good at wakeboarding. So like he taught me a bunch and I had a great time. I went to go to Auburn. I went down there I was meant to go for 2 weeks, ended up staying for bloody 2 months because I loved it. I was like, there was this the school had just opened up. It was like summer had finished, and went to these.
That was where the camp. That was where the camp was in Alabama.
No, the camp was up in Pennsylvania. Sorry.
Okay.
Then after the camp had finished, my visa allowed me to continue to travel and be here for a minute. So I was like, yeah, I'll go down and check out Alabama. It was, I hadn't heard, many people go down there from Australia, really. And
Yeah. You probably didn't even know what the fuck Alabama was.
no, look, yeah, not really, but it was. I'd experienced this college town. I was like, whoa, there's a bunch of people my age, young, early 20s, like having the best
Bunch of
time.
hotties just
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
hammered, keg stands, and fucking wet T-shirt contests right and left.
It was, and it was just like watching a movie. I was like, this is
Yeah.
I mean, it was like keg party, like you're saying, and
Yeah.
crawfish boils and all that sort of stuff. And
Cool.
anyway, I was writing music for a friend's film while I was down there as well, without even realizing that was actually going to extend into something that would change my life. But I wrote some music for one of my best mates' films. He made a documentary. And then after that, I went over to Texas to hang out with my other friend who had this. Her mum was the music manager, and they sort of put it to me. They were like, "Hey, Texas alone has this many people, right? However many of the millions there are. You don't need every single one of them to love what you're doing. You need a percentage of them." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And she's like, "And then there's Texas, and there's California, and there's all these big states." I'm like, "Wow!" Because in Australia alone, like. I think there was at that point 24 million people. In Texas, I think there was 24 million. I could be wrong, but I was kind of baffled. I was like, okay, interesting. Like, and they really loved music here. So at that point, I was like, I know I need to get back at some point to be in the United States and at least give it a go here. So I went back to Australia, formed a band with a bunch of the songs that I've been writing then, and then.
What was the name of the band?
Oh, dude, it's so bad.
Come on.
We were called. It was under my name. It was under Ed. I'm now under EJ Worland, but then it was Ed Worland and the Green Teas.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I was, dude, I'm a hippie. I was
Green
like,
teas, baby. That sounds
rank.
healthy.
Yeah, and I'm not healthy at all. I'm blown out and mess and eating chicken burgers and all sorts of shit. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, so we ended up getting this band together and writing some more tunes, and then it turned into more of a band and not so much a solo project. But I said to these guys, a group of guys, like, my goal, like from the beginning of this, was to get back to the US and start touring there. No, they were down. Yeah, let's do it. So we, got this band together. We then changed our name to this band called Oxblood, which sounds pretty rough, but basically it was like, it was more like, old country sort of stuff. Old country sort of. I think that's what you would have called it, old country. Anyway, we ended up, getting our shit together and putting out some songs, and that was 2010, 11. Actually, I came back in 2010 to the US and did a bit of hanging out and checking out some more music stuff, and then went back. By 2012, we'd booked to be here in the US in 2013. So we'd done some touring in Australia, but we came out over here and we did South by Southwest and did that whole thing. And we actually stayed in Texas for about 3 months and just played free shows. We played a bunch of free shows to try and build up some sort of hype. Went back to Australia, then came back again. And in that time, we met up with a producer, made a record. And basically what had happened was, I'm just giving you my whole career at this point.
Yeah, I love it.
In a sort of fast forward approach. But we did a bit of back and forth here. Went through all the rigmarole of, asking a band member to leave, and that got nasty. And then we got new management, and then that got a little nasty. And it was just like, became very overwhelming in relationships that I'd built out of like purely friendships, and then once there was some, when I say money, like it was like we borrowed money to make records, had to pay that back. It just got really, it got nasty, and it really took its toll. Band changed names again, and I'm talking. This is over a sort of close to a 7-year period, but my goal was still to be back here in the United States to pursue this career. Like I wanted to be here on the ground and do it.
It was never like, let's just like bust our asses here in Oz and like really like
Well, we
blow out
still
this
did that. We
marketplace.
still did that
Yeah.
in those times. So we still were like busting our asses, and it's not easy back then. Like it's not that it's easy here,
Yeah.
but it was. Touring is really difficult. Your two major cities are 10 hours apart. It's like
Right.
hundreds of
Right.
dollars in fuel, and you're touring with the band, and it's tricky, and we would service our songs to radio, and not hear anything back, and then you get a little buzz, and then it would die off, and it was just the end result, and this is no shade in Australia. I love where I'm from. I'm so blessed and lucky. But the end result for me was I wanted to do this elsewhere as well as Australia. Like I'd love to do Europe, I'd love to do America, but America was just the first on the list, and I had some connections, and that's kind of why we came. Well, that is why I came back and left that band and started a solo career and did some songwriting out here, and then we made the decision to move in 2019 and made a record out here. And yeah, so it's funny talking about that slingshot thing. I sort of you come in pretty red hot, You come in here being like, I'm gonna, get in there and try my hardest, and nothing's gonna wear me down. But it's kind of it's cool to have that energy by all means.
I think you have to, right? You can't you can't
100%.
really you can't really like move through it unless you do.
Yeah, you're not going to come here and sit in your ass because you will sink very quickly. So yeah, we came out here and I made a record and started releasing that on my own, and then managed to fluke not fluke, I guess some radio play from one of the musicians that I had on my record. Knew a guy at this station KCRW out here, and he started sending my music round for me, and that landed me some radio play. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that I'd been played on this station here because it's one of my favorite stations on earth. And then basically this
Nice.
radio DJ was playing my songs, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I've been sending my music to Australia and not getting any response for so long. And in saying that, I was getting some response, but this was more immediate. Like it just sort of. But then COVID happened, and then it was very hard to follow up the being able to play gigs around these songs and being out, and I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Kind of.
What do you think? What do you think? Like after coming out here and deciding that this was going to be the move for you,
Yeah.
and like landing and having that like high energy, like go 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 mentality. I'm gonna fucking be a star kind of drive that you need to have
Yeah.
to get to push the rock up the hill. What do you think? What do you think changed like over time for you as you like moved through that, if anything?
Um. Well, there was something cool about, as bad as it was with COVID and having to go back to Australia after that. And then I worked in this construction job that just tore me to shreds, literally, physically, and mentally, and all emotionally, and all the rest of it. And then coming back again, I came back with what felt like more horsepower. Like I was like, no, I know what
Yeah,
it's like if this doesn't work out, and I'm not doing that. So
yeah,
I think it's changed for the better for me, personally. But don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of down days, when you're up in this room, which I'm, lucky enough to be in. But it's like I'm sure you might have this as well. Like when you're on your own a lot, you're trying to compete with this thing,
mm.
and it's
Super
just like
isolating. Yeah, and you're
it's
just
isolating. It is, and this city, I'm sure it might be similar there, but this city is very isolating. Like there is community here by all means, but then sometimes you just feel completely alone.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've had a bit of that, but also I've been sort of fortunate and lucky enough just to call people that I can trust and love, and they usually um, remind me of what's going on. Like
Right.
you're over here and you're pursuing a career that you've wanted to do your entire life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting how like when we're younger and more naive, we approach this stuff from like this like energy space of being like I am going to put everything, all of my heart, soul, and life force, lifeblood into this thing. And and that's great, and it's an amazing thing. But you look back later on in life and you're just like, God, I'm so glad I got that out of my system, because like I don't have that anymore.
Right.
I couldn't do that again. And I think like just aging, like it's it's this like necessary part of the process of trying to get something started in this world,
Yeah.
of like needing to go full steam ahead and not even really knowing how to do it, kind of working like way harder than smarter. And then eventually you start to learn how to work smarter, but that starts to get a lot more like uh that becomes more heady, and you get
Yeah.
more like anxious.
More granular. Yeah. You kind of like start
Yeah.
thinking out of this stuff. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's like all nebulous, and you're just like, well, how am I supposed to do this? What am I supposed to do? And you start thinking a lot more, and that's when you get like into this space of like isolation. And now I'm in this world. I have devoted my life to this craft, and I'm
Mm.
out here, and I'm
Yep.
doing this, and I'm committed. But
Yeah.
like, shit, what have I done? And
Yeah.
it's like, some days you're very thankful because it's like all seems to be working, and you're like, oh man, like look at me, dude, like I'm so proud of myself, I stuck through, I did this thing, like God, man, life is good, I'm so awesome and proud and grateful to like be here. And then other days you're just like, oh my God, dude, like
What is
I
going on
miss,
here?
yeah, I miss everything about what like my life used to be when none of these things were attached to it.
You're right.
And I have kind of made myself, and I'm only speaking for myself right now, and I don't know if it's resonating, but like, I get to a place where it's just like, I have put so much self worth into this thing that I do that I haven't been able to really find it if it's not happening,
Gotcha.
which is dangerous, because it's like, well, oftentimes it's not happening. So does that just mean you're like a shell of a person? And
Mm.
the answer sometimes is yeah. Like I have been, and I've had to really learn how to navigate around that. And I wonder
Yeah.
if that's been the case for you, like, getting older and wiser and smarter and working smarter than harder, and kind of like falling into the trappings of like anxiety and like, shit, man, like I want to be up here, but like I'm only here. And it's like this never ending circle of nonsense that we
Yeah.
put ourselves in.
Yeah. No, for sure. As you get older, you kind of, I guess your plate becomes more full, or there might be some more responsibilities, or whatever it may be. You may take bigger risks and that sort of stuff. But with that, what do they say? Bigger risks, bigger rewards. That could be true, but it's also doesn't necessarily diminish the amount of anxiety that you get.
Yeah.
I think also, I hate this word creative, but let's just use it for the sake of the creators of this world, and they run what we like to say, run pretty hot. They run hot in terms of like everything is going, going, going. And when it doesn't work out, you're emotionally so invested into this thing, and it just shits the bed. Sorry
Right.
for the term.
Yeah,
Just like it.
for sure.
I keep forgetting that we're talking on a camera, and I feel like I'm just talking to you as my mate, so I can just,
I know, it's the best.
you know,
That's the
um,
goal.
yeah, no, it's awesome. So yeah, I think I personally take a lot of time in practices, like some form of discipline or routine, which I've found can be really helpful. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, this literally took half the day.
Yeah.
Like writing in the morning, then doing some form of exercise and some form of meditation or whatever it is. Those three things I need to do in the morning to really settle me. Because I find when I wake up, everything is going like, and at the moment around releasing music, there is so much to do. And as an artist, independent artist in today's day, um, you need to, well, not even an independent artist, you need to do a lot of work, and you need to be constantly in, from what I hear, in people's faces. And the record industry at the moment, from what it seems, doesn't really know what they're doing. Like, no one has an idea of how to make this new world work. So,
Right.
uh,
Same in the acting industry, in the film and television.
yeah, so it's like that alone, like the idea that you got to look at your head every single day and listen to your voice and promote this thing because it just moves so quickly. I've personally found that really tricky, but I'm learning to have a better relationship with it. And it's less. It's given me less anxiety or stress than it was, and it's just finding finding those relationships. I found how to build a relationship with it. So our friend, you met Jesse, right? Jesse Gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what a
love
ledge.
Jesse, man. He's like,
Shout out.
shout out to Jesse, dear friend, an incredible artist, and he is doing so well, which is so good to see. And he's really helped. Like he'll send me a message being like, "Dude, you need to change this video to do this," because he understands that landscape. And I was like,
Yeah, he's a younger kid, so he like kind of
"He's a
like
bit
gets
younger
that
and he
world.
gets it." Like he just understood where I was like, "What? I just want to play that thing." You know what I mean? I want
Yeah,
to hit this
right,
and sing to you and
right.
talk to Jules on the phone. But
Mm-hmm.
there's much more to it, and you need and so that has been a big learning curve, and
For
finding
sure.
confidence in that is in a weird way, like being like, no, it's okay if it doesn't get these views that we need to see all the time. It doesn't matter as long as it feels good to you. And I remember speaking to Alan about this actually when like 2022, when I was about to dive right into this, I just I just signed my first deal, and I was nervous as shit. I was like, I don't know what this means, like what the expectations are, and all this sort of stuff. And he was sort of helping me through that. And we're talking about the amount of um, this content that we need to do, right? And he was like, man, if you like it, like if you like the stuff, do that. It doesn't have to be like this is me making breakfast and lunch, and I'm out having a coffee. Like if that doesn't feel right, don't do it. Like there is things you can do. So I personally just stuck to performing, to singing in front of the microphone and looking at it. Another friend told me this is like look at it as like a gift that you're giving to someone. Like
That's cool.
that's so much better than it just being about me all the bloody time, because you
Mm-hmm.
literally spend most of the time when you make a record. It's That's the best part ever. Like the best part. It's gold. Like you never get that back. People in a room enjoying that creative process, and
Sacred.
it's like you never get that back. So you really try and hang on to how good that is, and then after that, you just have to swallow it and say, or from what I'm sort of seeing and feeling and doing is, you have to just then spend the next however many weeks, months, whatever it is, just flogging it, like, and just being like, this is worthy of people's ears. And if this is the only way that people can hear it, then we got to do it. We got to put that amount of work into it.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like nowadays. I've talked about this before, but you really have to not only be the artist that you are, but also a content creator and
It,
a marketing analyst, and like
and know how to do all these
a
things.
promoter, and yeah, you have to know how to like create and edit and like do all of these different variations of what you actually like are meant to be doing.
Yeah,
And it's just like, whoa, when did all this happen? And on one hand, it's wonderful because it helps us learn new skills and
yeah.
provides like value for like getting like creating a bigger reach and an audience. But at the same time, it's just like I empathize with a lot of artists who are introverts because they're like their worldview isn't to be like some
Mm-hmm.
huge artist on stage getting attention from a bunch
Yes.
of fans like
Yeah.
crying over them. It's about just the music. It's about
Oh
just
god, and it's
making the
so good.
music, and that's it. And it's so good. I just had a conversation with Sun Little. I don't know if you're familiar with his music or
I'm
not,
such a fan,
but
dude. That guy
dude,
ruled. Yeah, no,
he's so good, man. And he like talks a lot about that, where he's like, you know, I had to compartmentalize the two things of like being a performer and being like a musician,
yeah,
because being a musician and being a performer are two very different things to me.
very different.
Where like once I became a performer, that's when like all of my anxiety and depression started to kind of like surface. And it
You
was
said that,
only
or he said that?
he said that. He
Yeah,
was like,
interesting.
like going in front of people like really has made me nervous. He's learned how to do it and has learned how to create
I
his
know.
stage
Yeah, I
presence.
know.
But it has been like a whole nother uh, skill set for him to have to take on, because it's like, again, like the music is one thing, and being in a studio and making a song and having that like sacred space that you're trying to hold on to and like cultivate and like bleed into, that's a whole experience in and of itself.
Yeah.
Then you take it to the stage and you try to commoditize it and like, you know,
Oh,
like make and monetize it. And it's like, whoa, this is all this, everything's changed now. And, you know, it's especially different because nowadays you're kind of required to promote yourself on the social medias and do it this way and do it
constantly.
that way and make videos and make
Yeah.
these things. And, you know, it's part of why I'm doing this podcast. I'm like, and it's not, this has nothing to do with me being an actor. It just has me being to do with like Julian. And I'm just trying to like
Yeah, but
push that.
you're interested in something and you're sharing it with the world, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also like an extension of my own frustrations with where I am at currently as an actor. So I'm
Right.
just like, and I'm trying not to rely on like the gatekeepers who are going to like inevitably or eventually or maybe never give me a job. It's
Gotcha.
just like, I don't need to wait for this to happen
Nah,
anymore. I'm going to try to like find my own path.
you can't
But
wait that long. You know what I mean? Like it's
no,
just, you'd be
for
knocking
sure,
on the door
man.
all day long.
For sure. And I wonder if like any of that stuff kind of relates to you.
Yeah.
If you feel like, you know, if you have, if there's like a big difference to you in like the making of the music and the performing of it, like are they like separate entities of themselves? And what do you kind of like prefer? Where is your like heart in the most?
Oh man, big question, because I would say performing is like performing is my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do. Like
You're
playing.
awesome at it, man. Just,
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, I
that's
love it
it's the
so much.
best.
It's like it is such an enjoyable experience. And one thing I found, especially during COVID, was that it was a necessity. I had to do it. It's like a physical thing. It comes out of your, you're trying to give in that way, and it kind of makes sense. People have been singing and acting and performing for years, and I would say that would be my number one thing. I don't get me wrong, I love making the music too, but I just feel at home performing. Yeah,
You make the music so that you can perform it.
that's right. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, they're both great, but the performance is something that I cannot live without. Like whether I do music as a career my entire life, that is my plan, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm aiming for. I will
Yeah.
always perform at some point because I just love it.
So
Yeah,
interesting how people can have such different like points of view on all of this stuff. And like, you know, again,
yeah,
referencing Son Little and how he was just like, and I think he's probably unique in that because I think, you know, knowing guys like Alan and Teddy and Stephen Day and Jesse Gold and all these
yeah.
guys
I
that
mean,
are,
I'd be surprised. I don't know about that. I reckon it'd be pretty close. Where there's a lot of artists that, like you said before, who have spent so much time honing a craft to creating that music, and then they get on stage and they got to deal with physical people looking at them. I'd be interested to see what the stats would be if it's like
yeah,
how many people enjoy. Because I know a lot of artists don't love touring. Like one of my favorite artists and songwriters, this guy, his name's Tobias Jesso Jr. Credible songwriter. Um, and I loved his voice. I loved his performing and stuff. He's hilarious. Anyway, but I was listening to a lot of interviews with him, and he's like, I hate touring. I just can't. I don't like it. It's not what I want to do. So he stopped it. He made this one record called Goon, which is epic, and then has just been a songwriter. And I mean, he's written for some great people. I think he's done tracks with Adele and Pink and
nice.
Simple Peck and lots of other people. But yeah, same. He was saying a similar thing. He's like, I don't like performing. It's not, which I just found so interesting because to me it looked so natural to him.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's very fascinating, and I think there's this misconception that like, you know, artists who love performing, maybe to the outside eye, they're just like they just want attention and they just want to like be loved, and it's like,
yeah,
dude, you're missing the part where they're giving the gift to the people. Like it is somewhat of a selfless
and straight back again.
act.
Like if you got an audience like that, I mean, Alan in particular has an audience that just will listen to every word, but they celebrate with him. It's like
Yeah.
that's the sorry to cut you off, but that's
No, not at all, man.
it's like you can often think that way. You're like, oh, this is self-obsessive shit that I'm doing, and blah blah blah. And then you play a show, and you see the excitement in people's faces because they get to enjoying something that they love to do, which is like watching live music.
Yeah. Have you had any moments in your career where you have felt like, oh man, like I didn't know why that's why I was doing this, but that's why I'm doing this?
Yep. Yep, for sure. The first one that comes to mind is I did a show up at the sort of northeast in New South Wales there, near Byron Bay. Have you been up there to Byron
No,
Bay?
no, I've never been to Byron Bay. No.
So just inland from there is this amazing pub called the Eltham. A friend of mine owns. Shout out to Rabo. He's
Rabbi.
gang. Yeah, and he booked us. He was kind enough to book us a show, and I played there a couple of times. And then the last time I played there was in between. Did you hear about these gnarly floods that happened there a couple of years ago?
I did. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it was insane. It was so sad to see the devastation of what this natural disaster did. It was insane. Um, so I'd already had this show booked long before the floods had happened, and we ended up playing the show, and it was sort of they actually had not long after this another flood, was just so shocking. But what happened was after I'd finished playing, and what we did on that tour, I was like, any merchandise that is sold, 100% of that will go to flood relief.
Nice.
And as I'm doing this, I'm like, I feel bad because I'm playing a show in the place where it happened and people giving their money over. But it was going to a relief. Not everyone
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
a lot, but a lot of people did lose a shitload. So, look, it was an amazing experience because when I'd finished, this group of people came up to me in tears and they were like, "This has relieved us from. We've just had one of the craziest things happen to us where we've lost everything, like every physical thing, like the house had gone. Like this watching music tonight brought us back to life again. They didn't know me from a bar of soap, but
Right.
the fact that there was just people singing a song, live music, playing the whole thing, um, that what they'd actually done, they were cooks and they'd been cooking for people who'd lost all their houses. So they would like tell me about that experience. I was like, man, you guys deserve more than a medal. First of all, you deserve your house back. First of all, you deserve all the money you lost. Like, it was just that experience alone. But they were just thanking me, and I was like, no, man, you guys like. It just felt so. Well, I felt honored. Like I felt
Yeah.
absolutely honored. But it was like the most heart wrenching experience. Um, in many ways of like feeling so grateful and lucky that I still had everything, but I could give something to them that would lift them up a little bit. And it was, yeah, to this day, one of the most incredible experiences I've had.
Probably validated you even more than like, and I think,
Yeah.
validates artists more than the accolades and awards that they receive throughout their careers or whatever. It's
It's
like
funny though, isn't it?
those are
Do you
cool.
think like rewards and stuff around art is just so questionable? It's like this is
Of
the most,
course, man. Like it's the
yeah,
most subjective thing in the world. Like
I
how do you
yeah.
do this? What are
I
you
think
talking about?
I think the gratification from a music performance point of view is when you get these responses from people. It's like, look, mate, I'm not going to turn down a Grammy if one rocks up, but it's like at the same time,
Sure.
like people at a show telling you that they've just had an experience that they haven't had before is like nothing beats that.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it.
Yeah. People connecting to what you are putting out into the world and then coming back to articulate that it helped them through some experience in their own
Yeah,
life
it's just
is
amazing.
like, oh, whoa.
Yeah,
So then I guess what I'm doing transcends what I even thought I was doing.
exactly. And
you
it's
know?
also like that coming back to a world that we're living in now, which is like dehumanized. Like a lot of it is just like a device. It's like you can't take away like you can't take away that feeling that you get when someone tells you something like that. And
Yeah.
it just reiterates it's like we're doing the right thing here, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you figure out like how does because you can't make music for the purpose of hoping that happens either.
Right.
So like where does it come from? Does it always come from a different place for you? Do you always like tap into something different? Does like creativity come to you at like any and all different times and in different
Sure.
shapes and forms and sizes? Like where like do you have any way to like quantify like when it is the
No,
best?
I
Yeah, isn't that
wish
weird?
it's
Me too.
it'd be great to be like, yeah, cool. At 9 a.m., I'm going to be really creative until 5, and then I'm going to knock off. But
I mean, some people have routines like that where they're just like,
for
all right,
sure,
I don't
and
care.
it
I'm going to
can
force
work.
myself.
But for me personally, not really. Like, um, sometimes you're lucky enough to get it once a week, and when you get
Yeah.
it, it's like you got to capitalize on it. It's like, sorry,
Bro, fuck.
dinner's ready. I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
which can can often be really hard for people in relationships and things like this because
Absolutely.
you get this. Again, you never get that back. It's like, boom, it's there. Let's go. Come on. You can, like, sure, you can manufacture it where you can go and sit in a room with a bunch of people and write a song. Don't get me wrong, or on your own. But when you have that feeling of like, woof, yes, come on, and it might last for an hour, and that's it. And then you got to try and get as much as you can out of it. Who was it? There was a famous author, writer. God, I can't remember who it is now. That used to, if he or she, I can't remember who it was on a run, like they're doing really well, they'd stop it halfway through, shut the page, and then come back the next day and open it up, and it's like, oh, I remember now, and then they sort of take off because they want to have that enjoyment or that excitement again the next day. I've tried that. Doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
like you're basically like, well, for me, it didn't work. It's like I've tried it a number of times. It's like, yeah, cool, we're on a run. Fuck it, I'm out of here. I'll come back tomorrow. And
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
come back and you're like, oh, damn it! I wish I just stayed there for that extra 10 minutes and just finished that thing. Like,
Right.
so I don't know if I answered your question. I've gone on a bit of a rant, but
We're all, dude. We both are, man. I'm curious, like just being present. Like I heard a friend of mine talk about presence the other day, where it's like it doesn't matter. Like presence, you're always present because you're just always there. Like no matter if you're like if you're sitting there and you're like looking into your phone, like you're just being present with your phone, right? You're just being present in that thing that you're doing. So like, but I think we get so tied up in this like notion that, man, I got to be like really present in this space and like here right now in this moment with like whatever it is, and we try to achieve presence in our art, right? We try to like be there with what is happening, the inspiration around us. And do you find that you are like a pretty easily distracted person when you try to like tap into that stuff? Like, are you pretty ADHD like me and all the other fuckers
yeah,
out here?
big time.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
and as I'm getting older, I think it's getting worse. But yes, absolutely. The ping pong, like
Yeah.
and it really and that's when I start beating myself up. I'm trying to get better at that, but like, oh god, just sit down and finish one thing. So that's when I do like coming back to your last question is manufacturing, like sitting down with people and being like, no, I need to sit here because these people give them their time. We need to knock this out. Like that's a thing that I've learned. It's like you get into a room with one or two other people and or whatever it is, and that helps me sort of structure it. But yes, I definitely distraction. Like another good reason about living here in LA and up on a hill that's bloody miles away from anything
Yeah. So
is
you
that
got
I'm not close to an ocean where I can
space.
go fishing or surfing in. Like because if
Yeah.
that's there, I'm going fishing and I'll fish till the cows come home. You know,
Yeah, but dude, like on the other hand, maybe sometimes you need to fish
yeah.
and surf, you know?
I
Like,
needed it like the other day when I was chatting to you and got my chicken burger. I was like, I just needed an out. I just
yeah.
needed to go out and see people because I was spent a lot of time communicating with people, but not via email and text and shit. It wasn't being around people. And one thing I have noticed about myself, and my wife made me savvy of this, or made me aware of this, I should say, is that I used to think that I was quite an introvert, and I'm absolutely not. Like I need to be. I love being around people. I love for whatever reason it is. I just get energy from it. Kicks me into gear. Whereas she's very different. She gets it from being on her own, which is it's great. It works for both of us. It actually works perfect.
Hmm.
It's like one of us is down. It's like, well, I know it can help you. We'll go out to see a show, or if
Yeah.
vice versa, we're going to sit inside and watch a movie here. So it's kind of yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to find a partner who can kind of like fall in line in the same kind of or in the opposite way that you do so that you can find like some
Big time.
balance there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But Yeah, to answer your question, man, I do get very distracted and I find it really tricky. But finding
Do you get
deadlines is a
do you get
real
down? Yeah, deadlines and stuff. Like, do you get down on yourself
oh
when
yeah,
you? Yeah, do you like beat yourself up pretty hard?
bad. Like,
Really, me too.
so I was on the phone to my dad just the other day, who's my he's my dad, but he's also a mentor. Like, he really helps me in, especially in decision making,
Cool.
um, which I find very difficult. And when it comes, like, I'm in a position where I'm lucky enough to sort of, I guess, make decisions on some things. But I've got a note here. It says, "Is it 80% done? If it is, it's done. Move on."
Oh,
So basically
yes.
it's like, because I'm like, oh, but those last little 20%, it's like you're going to spend the rest of the day or week or month or year worrying about that. It's like you could have done so much more. So just little
Right.
things like that I find. But I was really beating myself up bad, like to a point where it was nothing would change my mind and or help me make my mind up. It was paralyzing. It's crippling, and it's so annoying. And then that just is just like this constant thing. It just keeps building and building, and you're like, oh man, just give me a break. So yeah, I think taking breaks, like you said, like going for a fish or whatever it is, going surfing or whatever you're into, is super important. And that's
Yeah.
why I try to have the weekends off like that.
Do you think that you're hard on yourself because you like treat your art in like this precious way, and you feel like it needs to be something more than what maybe just it is, and it's because
Yeah,
it's not, then you like beat yourself up? Because
yeah,
I do that.
sure. I mean, yeah, I take a lot of pride in the work that I'm doing, um, and I got a pretty high expectation for it. And then I start thinking about the amount of hours that I put into this, and it's just like, God's sake, give us a break. And then that's
Dude,
yeah,
I find that, like, sorry to cut you off, but I find that in pursuit of trying to capture whatever art is that I'm doing, like let's say I'm putting myself on tape for an audition, or I'm in a scene on set in on a television show, um, or I'm in class and I'm doing something, or I'm even like playing guitar and like taking a video of it or something like that. The first go is always the best for me, because
mm,
once I start like trying to like manufacture perfection and make it like exact and do like, it's always just me, like when I drop the veil of like this perfected idea that like it needs to be so good and I need to sound this way and I need to look this way, all of a sudden, like,
takes
dude,
away.
everybody, yeah, man, everybody wants to see like you as the human and
Yeah,
the imperfections in it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
sometimes even like in a recording, like a musical recording, like I want to hear the voice crack almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's nice, and
You know who's done a
we spend
really
so much.
good job of that recently? Sorry to cut you off, but I've been
No,
listening to
who?
Zach Bryan, this country
Oh,
artist.
cool. Uh
So
huh.
listen to his latest record. It's like I'm hearing him sing. I mean, the songs are like undeniably fantastic, and the singing is like there are so many bung notes that make it so good. Like, it's so much
Nice.
that's sung flat. I'm like, this is rad. Sorry, Zach, but I
Yeah,
love it.
dude, and like what a great lesson to take. You
Character,
know,
because
like
like a lot of the music you listen to, like to get sort of granular and technical, if you listen to, and this is no shade at these people that do it, but there's a lot of tuning that gets done, and it's like, for me personally, I love character in voices, love it, and voices in particular. Like when things are a little bit bung, bit off, it like you said, it sort of intrigues you, it brings you in, and but yeah, like spending too much time on that stuff it'll send you mad. You'll go crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I'm really glad that you're navigating all of this space the way that you are, man. I hope that you're not as hard on yourself moving forward as you have been
Thanks,
in the
buddy. Yeah,
past.
no, I
I'm
appreciate it.
certainly I'm certainly doing my best to do the same and practice what I preach, as I navigate my own space. But I know we got a little schedule, so I want to
No,
respect
you're
that
fine,
with
dude.
you.
Like, if you got some more, like I'm cruising. I just love chatting to you.
I know, man. I know. I
I
love chatting with
appreciate
you
it.
too, man. You're the fucking RIFF-DADDY, baby. It's fucking A, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
it's
I hope I haven't come across too negative on that. I was more.
no, dude. It's not at all, man. This is the
It's
thing.
more
Like, people,
honesty about the sort of current situation, but also at the same time, like I'm so excited about what's to come. Like I'm in the process of releasing a record, and it's like the anticipation with that is great. Like a lot, like I wouldn't have it any other way. Like it's incredible. It's just like any job. There's hard things about it that can
Of
sort of,
course.
and a lot of the
Of
time is
course, dude. You're molding yourself into the person that you are ultimately becoming, and you're always going to be chiseling away at that thing of
for sure.
yourself. And what's happened has happened, and what will come, and it's just like we're on this trajectory that is, as an artist, we're constantly kind of like looking inside, looking inward to be like, oh, and it's scary. It's a scary place to traverse because
It is.
it's unknown, it's uncertain, and there's no guarantees. There's no like paycheck at the end of the road on Friday, and there's no fucking like there's no consistency. There's no like
I can see
there's nothing to grab hold of. It's just like, fuck, dude, I'm like free falling, and I don't know what the
Yeah, I
fuck
mean,
I'm supposed to do.
exactly. It's totally like that. It's a big dark hole a lot of the time, and you're trying to figure out how to sink your mitts into it to keep climbing up. But that's why, again, I think having those sort of some form of routine in your life is better than And some people might not agree with that, but for me, who gets distracted very easily, having that form of routine really helps big time.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. But I also think trying to break away from the routine and trying to figure out ways
Sure.
to just like
Yeah.
go do something completely opposite from all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think what we do comes from a lot of our experiences in life. So if we're not going out and having experiences and having fun times with
Yeah.
friends, family, partners,
Cut
just
yourself some
being
slack.
spontaneous,
Cut yourself
yeah,
some
man,
slack.
it's not gonna it's not gonna serve what you're trying to accomplish if you prevent yourself from living a full life
Totally.
and you only focus on the thing. And
Yeah.
I don't think you do that at all, man. Like I mean, I don't get to spend enough time with you
Mm.
nearly as much as I would like, but when I do, I see you being like this very full, very like fucking like lively presence that just like is excited to do what you are doing. You get to do it. It's not that like this is what you're needing to do. This is not what you like are like, yeah, I'm an artist and now I'm like, this is just my job and so I'm here to do. It's like, dude, you are thrilled by the experiences that you're getting to have. From what I'm seeing,
Thanks.
you're like very gracious in your stage presence. You you put every single ounce of your heart into the performances that you give, and it's like it's infectious, man.
Thanks, brother.
it's
I
so
appreciate
it's
that.
so infectious, and it will continue to like translate into bigger and wider audiences that like see it because it's undeniable. I thought that when I saw Alan, and I was just like, whoa, this
Mm.
guy is like, I don't care if you don't like the music style or like the genre or whatever, like
Mhm.
it's undeniable.
It's a
And
performance. It is.
you're in the exact same camp as that though too, man. And
Thanks.
it's like, I don't say that to blow smoke up your ass either. I don't need to do that. Like, I am so blown away. It's so nice to have friends that are artists that I don't look at and be like, oh yeah, like I support their art because like, they're artists and
Well
stuff.
done.
It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, you do that because you go to one of their comedy shows and it's just fucking crickets the whole time and you're like
Oh,
in there
God, it's
laughing.
hard. Yeah.
It's the worst.
Oh, it's the
But
worst.
fortunately for me in my life, in the community that I've created for myself, I'm like actually blown away by all the people that I get to surround myself
That's
with. And
awesome.
it's such a beautiful gift to have,
I think
man.
that's a credit to who you are, brother. You know what I mean? It's like there's something to say about that. It's like the world works in very interesting ways, and then you find yourself in these communities of people, and you're like, how did I get here? And there's a reason for it. You know,
Yeah.
there's a bigger.
Yeah. Well, that's,
I'm not sure what it is, but there is a reason for it.
yeah, it's very sweet of you to say, man. And, I want to be a product of my surroundings, and I actively aim to challenge myself to be around people who are better than me and
Yeah,
people that are going to inspire me
that's
and
the go,
like
mate. Yeah,
elevate me, and you can't always just like you can't always just ask for that. You have to like position yourself in those places and find ways to relate and be present in these spaces with these people. And I've certainly been like a complete dipshit in rooms with people that I like really admired. I'm like, well, I fucking lost that chance of being friends with those guys. Definitely fucked up there. But you know, that's humility, man. That's like growth and being like, okay, cool. Like, let me like
move
let
on.
me yeah, move on. Let me like learn from what I did or didn't
Dude.
do, and also like not, you know, beat myself up too hard because like fuck those guys. You know, I didn't want to be fucking friends with fucking P Diddy anyways.
He
You
couldn't even
know,
riff anyway.
he
Fucking.
can't even fucking riff, dude. God, what a fucking baby back bitch. Oh my god, man. Yeah, well, dude, I'm endlessly proud of the work that you're doing, the music that you're making. You got a record coming out. Do we call it a record now or an album? Or is like a
Look, this
record a
is,
song and an
man,
album an
today's
album?
day
Like
and
what
age,
the
it's
fuck?
like
Correct me here.
if you drop a record, right? I mean, for me anyway, you drop a record, you'd be lucky to get one person to listen to one song. Not really one person, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I like to call it records because I have the faith that we're going to get full length things back. The pendulum shall
Yeah.
swing, and we should be
Yeah,
listening
absolutely,
to
man.
full length albums and things like that. That's my hope, my dream, and my goal. But yeah, at the moment, it's all around, you know, you release singles and singles and singles to build up to an album. That's what seems to be the current trend. I'm releasing six tracks on. We're hoping for the end of May. If not, we're just waiting on some things. But if not, the beginning of June, and that'll be the sort of first part of an album that I've been working on. So,
You
yeah.
heard it here first, folks. EJ Worland coming in hot. Do you
Hopefully,
have a name? Does the EP, is it an EP then? Is
yeah.
that what it'd be called?
I guess you'd call it an EP. Yeah,
Why
it's
are there all these names, dude? Just got it's fucking an album. Just because it has a certain amount of songs, fuck it, dude.
like, yeah. I mean, when I first came here, people were called individual songs cutting records. I'm like, wait, you're doing a whole record in a day? It's like, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
I was always confused by that too.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's used in both ways. So like, an EP essentially is like I think it's extended play. So it's just I think any more than 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah,
But yes, this is going to be an EP. It's called Tunnels. It's a sort of evolution from my last record. It's about the single off it is called Tunnels, and it's about working underground that I was doing back during COVID and
oh
wanting
wow.
and trying so hard to get back here um, and now I am here, and it's incredible. I'm so lucky. I'm really proud of this song. I'll send it to you after here. I'd love to know what you think.
Please, please.
I shot a really great video for it, which I think you'll dig, purely from a dear friend of mine, Manuel. He's an incredible DP. We call them DOPs. What do you call them DPs here?
Well, that's just the director of photography,
Right,
right?
same shit, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we
whatever.
just cancel the O.
Yeah, but he got
Fucking trying
cancelled.
to
Big O.
just fucking trying to shorten everything here in
Anyway,
America.
he's got an incredible eye, and I'm really proud of the video he cut for it. So I'll send that through to you to have a.
Yeah,
Love to know.
please, man. Yeah, let's send
It's
it over to me
studio
today.
hang. It's basically us recording and making the song. Shows you the process of it, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. So
Awesome, man. I can't wait to make stuff with you. You
yes,
know, do videos, do fun things, you know.
you need to make a
I
trip out there, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully,
but I need to come out there too, you know, like we both need to
yes,
like be swapping around and stuff and doing these
yeah,
things. I really want to make build a life where I can make cool shit with
with your
the coolest
mates.
people I know.
I remember chatting to you and Al about that back in 2020, and like that was what you guys are doing and continue to do. It's rad. It's amazing.
For sure, man. I don't want to like just be like, oh man, you know, fucking Timothy Chalamet is available to do a movie. I just like I don't fucking know Timothy Chalamet. Great, like look, first and foremost, let me clarify. Like I would definitely do a movie with Timothy Chalamet, but like I don't. I want to be moving in the direction for me to be making
Right.
stuff with my
Yeah.
friends that are already pre-existing friendships that I have with people that I already know are so talented. You
Yes.
know, I don't Timothy Chalamet doesn't need any more fucking goddamn praise. I'm trying to bring my friends up in this shit, man. I'm trying to make some cool shit. Like, fuck you, Timothy Chalamet, you
I love this.
fucking hot, talented fuck boy. I hate you, Timothy. I fucking hate you.
You heard it here,
Ruined my
folks.
life. No, I'm just joking. He's exceptional, man. He's fucking
Yeah,
insane.
I love
But
it.
like, I really want to, I really want to create a space where, I'm getting to do that, like Adam Sandler or something, dude.
Yeah,
Just like make that space and
yeah, yeah.
just do things with you, whether it's a music video or a movie or a song or whatever, man. Like
Yeah,
I
let's do
just
it.
want to provide the space to do that, and this is where it starts. This is where it begins, man. And we'll see what time will do for us, my friend.
Absolutely, man. I'm keen as mustard. Let's make it happen.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, Tunnels is coming to your ears. Hopefully by the end of May,
May,
which
yeah,
will all
that's what we're going for. We're shooting for. We're just there's a few things we're waiting on the logistical end, but we're just almost there. So yeah,
sweet. Well, this episode will be coming out around the same time, so make sure
epic.
that you guys check it out. Give that baby some streams. Let's
Please, yeah.
get fucking EJ Worland rich and famous.
Yeah, I mean, to get rich off streams, I mean, how many streams you got to get rich?
Dude,
Billions?
probably. Yeah, I
Billions?
mean, I don't know. You tell me, man. Fuck, I don't
I'm
know.
going
I
to
don't
say
fucking
billions. I mean, it depends on your
billions.
setup.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you're
no,
getting like
honestly,
fractions of pennies on like the hundreds of thousands, aren't you?
fuck, I don't even know.
Yeah, who
Probably, yeah,
knows?
something like
Yeah,
it seems to change, but it as soon as I start thinking about that stuff too much, it sort of takes away the fun. So I try and keep
I
it
know.
as fun as we can. And mate, I can't thank you enough for having me on again. It's just been a
Absolutely, man.
blast. Should we do it
Yeah,
again tomorrow? Or I'm happy.
probably. Yeah, you just want to be my
I'm saying,
resident
hey,
guest that just comes on like intermittently between the week and we just
dude,
have a hang,
let's do
man.
it.
It's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
best.
I'm down. I love
Yeah,
this. I
I
bloody
love
love
it
it.
too, man. It's the best, dude.
It's the best.
We'll go have fun at Bill Burr tonight, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Slap him in the nards for me, and
I mean, I'm up in the nosebleeds. I'll have to bring a slingshot.
that's okay. Do his little slingy, baby.
There
Fucking
you
just
go.
whack him right in the nards. Give Lecky a big hug for me, man. And
Will do,
I
brother.
can't wait. I can't wait for your EP to surprisingly just go fucking completely viral and blow you out of the water. And be
Oh,
like,
that'd
holy
be cool.
shit!
That'd be.
I think it can happen, man. I think it should happen, and I think it can. So
I mean, regardless, we're making music, mate, and it's going to last forever. And you're making some great art too, brother. So thank you so much again. And I can't wait to see you whenever that is.
yeah, dude,
Hopefully soon, dude.
we'll have some riffs, dude. No doubt.
100%. Riff off. Come on.
Come on, baby. All right, brother.
Come
Love you,
on.
man. Have
Love
a
you,
great
brother.
rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Love you, brother. See you, mate.
Bye. What do you think about that? Gotta love that EJ Worland. Guys, make sure you keep your eyes and ears peeled for Tunnels coming to a streaming platform near you very soon, if not already. His music is transcendent and out of this world and undeniable. So whether you like that kind of music, soul music, or not, get with the program and grab the music, blast it at the top of the volume knobs, and let the whole world listen. Scream it from the rooftops, learn it and sing along. It's the best. I love this man. Yeah, loved having him on. That was great. Big takeaways are, just trying to figure out how to enjoy ourselves in this pursuit a little bit more, whether that means going out and grabbing an ice cream cone or grabbing your skateboard and doing something on it outside in the outdoor arena, and doing things, being a little bit more spontaneous with ourselves, to remind ourselves of the art that we have to make and bring to the world. Quit being so hard on yourself. If you're being hard on yourself, knock it off. All right. I said so. I'm telling you, this is your sign right now. If you're thinking, man, I haven't been doing enough yet. I haven't turned that in, man. I got this script that I still haven't finished, man. Like I haven't finished that song, or shoot, man. Like I wish I was richer. Just we all wish that we were better. but we are where we are, and that is totally enough. EJ Worland, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into that episode. It was my pleasure to talk to him, and I can't wait to see him again sometime soon. Guys, if you haven't liked or followed or subscribed to this page on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you get this podcast, make sure you click that follow right now. Please, you'd be doing me a huge favor. If you haven't already, check us out on patreon.com/the precipice of delusion. We are going to be putting up a bunch of new exclusive content for you where you're going to get all sorts of cool stuff coming from me. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun space to jump into this community with. I will be making all sorts of cool exclusive stuff for you. There's tiers as low as $1 to become a member. I will shout you out at the end of this video, and I will make sure that you feel loved and great, and that you never feel like we're not best friends. You got that right? So, speaking of, while I have this, I'm going to shout out my members that I already have, because a few of them are already coming in hot. Let me see. Where are they at? I'm sure you guys have already stopped listening. But anyways, I got to shout out Melissa Kennedy, Stacy Walker, what a legend, Joe Thomas, and my good man, Scott Scrivener. You guys are legends. Thank you for being a part of this before I've even really done any promotion for it. I'm going to be putting in some new merch and exclusive content as soon as I can. The goal is to create a new studio and build this out so that I can start doing in-person conversations. And yeah, ultimately, I'm just trying to keep this train a-moving. So thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful week. Do a little dance in the middle of the street. Be spontaneous. Take yourself out. Go on a little artist date if you want to, or if you don't want to. Challenge yourself to do something that pulls you out of your comfort zone but makes you feel really wonderful at the end of it. I love you. I will see you guys next week. Ta-ta!
Now that's what I'm talking about.